I breathed a sigh of relief. Okay, at least this man is being held accountable for what he did. Okay? And then I start hearing these liberal politicians, people in the media, things like that. They're talking about justice. That was an example of justice. Nope. Justice would be a world in which George Floyd is still alive. Justice would be a world in which we no longer have the police as a force standing above the people, ready to enforce the systems of domination that oppress all of us working class people, but especially those of us from one or more marginalized backgrounds. So in the midst of all this kind of ugliness, right? Kind of sadness and pain, I finally did find the message that I wanted to share today. And that is that I have hope for the future. I have hope for the future, and I think you all should too. Okay? Now, I know that our world is reeling from the effects of multiple interlocking crises. Okay? I am not naive about that. It would be foolish. But I think that something started to change in the minds of many people last year. It's been changing for a long time, but I think that last year was a bit of an inflection point. Okay? So we saw some of the biggest mass protests in United States history last year. I remember marching down Nevada Avenue, dodging these fascists in their white trucks trying to plow us over. What is it with fascists in their white trucks anyway? No offense if any of y'all have a white truck. But we were able to actually do something out of this, right, people? We were able to actually put the question of defunding the police into mainstream conversation. The idea that we should fund services that help people, that actually keep us safe, rather than the repressive apparatus of the state. We were able to win some limited reforms around the country, reforms that are by no means sufficient to win justice, but they are things that would not have happened without the power of the people demanding them. Even here in Colorado Springs, I don't know if y'all know this, we've got a pretty right-wing local government here in the Springs. Anybody know that? Yeah? Even here, we were able to put these people on notice that we will not be silent, okay? And so now we're in this place, right? We had a little oopsie-whoopsie of an attempted fascist coup on January 6th, but that didn't end up being too much of a thing. So now we're sitting here, we have this new administration here in Colorado, we have a Democratic governor, and what do we often hear from these types of politicians? We often hear this refrain of, "You did it! Congratulations! Hashtag Black Lives Matter. Now please stop fighting. Please stop making noise. Please trust the process. Trust the process of a system that exists to uphold domination over us, the majority of the people." They tell us that the dream won't be deferred forever. We've been waiting 400 years on that dream, speaking as a black person. They tell us the dream won't be deferred forever. You need to just, don't look past your nose, okay? Take care of you and yours, hustle your way to success, maybe engage in some civic action in the form of voting, but other than that, live your private life. The idea that there's your private life and then there's public life at large, and these two things don't touch each other. Well, I'm here to tell you that it's absolute nonsense. Of course they do. Of course they do. Your freedom is linked to my freedom and to yours and to everyone's here. I will not be free until you are free, and vice versa. There is no way out of this mess except together. Okay? So, what does that mean? We saw these heroic waves. Yeah, the spaceship's coming. Okay, all with me now? Wonderful. So we saw this heroic burst of elemental mass action last year, and I think we know that it gets results. But as important as that is, as important as the rage of the people is, I am here to tell you, regrettably, that by itself it is insufficient. We can't win a liberated world relying only on elemental bursts of popular anger. For that, and I will now start to kind of echo what every other speaker before me has said in their own way, for that to truly get free, we need organization. We need to organize long-term to win political power for working class and oppressed people. Now that can look like a lot of things, okay? It doesn't necessarily look like, like a bunch of big burly steelworker dudes going to their union meeting, although it can look like that. Organizing takes place whenever two or more working class and oppressed people come together in order to accomplish our shared interests. And believe me, we do have shared interests. All of us here have so much more in common with each other than we do with the 1%, the ruling class, the capitalist class. Look, whatever you want to call them, that's fine by me. But the point is that we need to be together in order to defeat them because, and I'm sure this will be no shock, these people are very well funded and well organized, okay? There is an army of paid persuaders out there whose sole purpose is to convince different sections of the working class, different sections of oppressed people to stand against other parts of the working class, to stand against other oppressed people, okay? So we have to cast that off. Solidarity is the most important word that I want everyone to take home today. Our vision is expansive. I am a proud socialist. I know how far we are in this hyper-capitalist country, the world hegemon of capitalism. We are very far away, but we are never going to get to where we want to go unless we start walking together. Solidarity can move mountains. The organization that I give some of my time to is, of course, the Democratic Socialists of America. You might wonder, what's the point, right? We all lead such busy lives. We are working double shifts. We are hustling. We are scrambling. I mean, we're lucky to even get a little bit of time with our kids in, right? Which is a damn shame. But I think it's worth it to organize. I think it's worth it to join in solidarity with other people in order to accomplish our shared goal of steps toward liberation. In the Democratic Socialists of America, we work at the ballot box, we work in the workplace, in your apartment complex, or in the community at large to actually start to build that democratic power that can get us somewhere. And this can obviously take many different forms. I mean, even right here in Colorado Springs, right? The Wild Goose Meeting House workers were able to actually do something. Right now, we all have those bosses, right? They all steal from us. They all mess with us in terms of our schedules. They belittle us. They demean us. They sexually harass many of us, unfortunately. But these workers at Wild Goose, right around here, as a matter of fact, were actually able to win back wages. And truly, friends, can you imagine that happening on a one-to-one basis, right? You just kind of go up to your boss and just say, hey, boss, I'm sorry, I'm not really happy about these working conditions. Since you say you have an open door policy, I shall just take care of this as an individual, one-to-one with my boss. Come on. We are only able to do this together. So, I want to close today by truly emphasizing you all, every single person here right now, has something incredibly valuable to give to the movement. And that's you. We really need all of you. There are no leaders who are going to be able to descend from on high and lead us out of these crises. It's going to be us together. I want you to reject the logic of capitalism that tells you that you're on your own. reject it. Embrace the logic of solidarity, because that is our best chance of bequeathing a world worth living in to future generations. So please, join or get involved with one or more of the groups that you have learned about here today. Get involved in any shape that you can. If you don't have money, that's okay. Donating money is only one means to support this vast and interconnected movement. We need your time. We need your unique skills. We need the things that you have that nobody else does, okay? So don't forget that. Solidarity is not an abstract concept. It doesn't work without me. It doesn't work without you. Get organized.